Now I just installed this new bridge on the guitar, so there's no way the bridge is set up properly. So the first thing you got to do is set that up. If you've got a bridge like this, you can skip this step because this thing has a fixed radius and you don't need to fiddle with it. But the first thing you got to do is make sure your string radius is correct on the bridge to match the neck. Mine is a 9.5 typical Fender, and if you don't have one of these gauges, then you can make your own. Here's a link to the video where you can make your own little paper gauge, and then you lay it across the top and you can see where the light's getting underneath it, which shows me that my B, G, and D strings are all too low. I can get the same effect by doing this, and if I pull up on the gauge, I can see that my E string is above it. It's resting on these three, and then this E string's above it. So that tells me these guys in the middle are too low. You adjust that with these little saddle screws to raise them up, and then once you've got these all at a good radius, then you can move on. To properly do the relief on the neck, you also have to have a well-cut nut, which means that the radius on these needs to also be, in this case, 9.5, and they need to be the correct height over the frets. So I can see from this that the radius is good. I'm not seeing any gaps, but what you really need to know is how high are the strings. So without getting my measuring gauges out, I get a feel for how high the nut or the string is over the first fret, then hold it on the first fret, and then check that against how high the action is over the second fret. I can feel that this action is higher than this. Again, same on that string, same on that string. Now this is relatively normal for the nut to be a little bit high because nuts do wear out over time. But if you wanted this to be absolutely perfect, you could cut each of these nut slots down a bit until those heights were closer. You definitely don't want it too low, because then it'll buzz when you play open strings. Hopefully the nut was cut properly the first time, then of course you don't need to worry about it. When you feel it's close enough, then you check the neck relief. To check the neck relief, what you want to know is that there is some curvature to the neck in this part. The way to do that is to capo the neck at the first fret and then press the 6th string down at the 17th fret. I think I'm just off screen here. And then use a feeler gauge to go under the 7th fret, which is about in the middle of the two. Now what I can feel here is this is 0.25 millimeters or 10/1000ths of an inch, and it just drags under the string. You have to hit it at just the right angle. Do the same on the high E string, and you shouldn't have any kind of a gap. So in this case, the neck relief is fine. I don't need to make any adjustments, but if I did, on this neck, the adjustment is here at the headstock. Sometimes the adjustment is at the heel of the neck, and in those necks, you often have to take the neck off the guitar to make an adjustment. Usually a quarter turn is good, and then you have to put the neck back on, string it back up, and test it again. String action is a measurement of how much room the strings have to vibrate when you're playing them. Now this nifty little tool comes with a gauge on it, and that says that for an electric guitar, the 6th string action should be about 70/1000ths of an inch, and on the first string it should be about 50/1000ths. So it comes with a gauge for that. Where are we here? There. So there's 70, there's 50. So hold this at the 12th fret, And then I'm looking underneath to see which one this best lines up as. And this guitar looks good. On the low E string. The high E string does look a little high, but I think I knew that. So I can make that adjustment at the bridge. And this style of bridge is 2 posts, so I can raise and lower the whole bridge. It is a floating tremolo bridge, so there's other things that I have to watch for when I'm messing around with this. If you had this style of bridge, again, you do the same thing, you just adjust the 2 posts. If you have a guitar bridge that's like this, like a hardtail Fender, to make the bridge saddles rise up, you have to adjust each one. The last step is intonation. Once your strings are all at the right height and the neck relief is good, you just need to make sure that the tuning is going to be correct. So the way to do that is to adjust the saddles, how close they are to the neck or how far away they are from the neck. The way to figure that out is to compare the note you get at the 12th fret when you play a harmonic against what you get when you actually fret the note. Now, because the string diameters change, the distance that you want isn't going to be exactly the distance between the nut and the 12th fret and the 12th fret and the bridge. They're going to change, and that's why you see this staggered pattern in these bridge saddles. So what I do with each one of these strings now is fret the note. I've got a tuner on here. Oh, there we go. So I'm in E flat standard tuning. So first off, make sure the string is tuned properly. There we go. Now play the harmonic. You should get the same note. Now fret at the 12th, and I get the same note. That tells me that the intonation on this string is exactly right. Let's compare that on the B string. That one's already tuned properly. Harmonic, obviously, will be the same. And the fretted string is the same. Do that test with each one of the strings, adjust as necessary. And to do that, you just turn this screw. So if I turn this to the right, I'm tightening it. I'm pulling the saddle backwards, which will increase the distance between the 12th fret and the saddle. If you increase the distance and the tension stays relatively the same, the note will go down. So if the note you get when you're fretting the 12th fret is high or sharp, then you tighten. If the note is flat, then you loosen this saddle adjustment, which brings the saddle down, shortens the distance, and actually raises that note. All right, thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful to you. Please like and subscribe. If you found that useful, share it with your friends, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you again.